Welcome back, my strangelings. Yes, we're in a different room than where I normally do my recordings. We're in my bedroom. Because tonight I feel like doing it in my bedroom, sort of like a bedtime story. So, on that note, let's continue on. So we left off where it's the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. So, let's continue on. With that, the double bed with the three Beckfords on it rose eerily into the air and remained suspended some 2 feet off the floor. Suddenly, the dresser careened across the room as though on rollers. Ed managed to step out of the way just before it smashed into the wall, whereupon the double bed crashed to the floor. At the same time, Eric lay quietly sobbing on the other twin bed in his own room. When Lorraine looked over to comfort the young teenager, to her astonishment, Eric was levitating some 2 feet above the bed. A second later, she watched as the boy was propelled with a tremendous force against the far wall. 5 feet away, the boy then fell to the floor in a crumpled heap. Lorraine leaped off the bed and switched on the light as the others entered the bedroom. Dazed and trembling, Eric had suffered no broken bones, but his face and chest were bruised and swollen. The sign Ed asked for had been given. The demonic was indeed at work. This was made even clearer the next morning after the sun came up. When Lorraine looked outside the bedroom window, upside down, stuck in an unmelted pile of snow, was a foot-long walnut crucifix that had been fixtured in Pete and Sharon's bedroom from the day they were married. On Friday, April 19th, as Ed and Lorraine continued their stay with the Beckfords, the phenomenon became more and more display of petrol power, obscenities, and blasphemies showed upon the ceiling of the parents' bedroom, written in indelible red ink. More astonishing still, as everyone watched the wallpaper begun to peel off the walls, one sheet at a time, revealing foul language and blasphemies, again written in blood red ink. On the wall underneath, pictures not only moved on their own now, they began to smolder and break into flames. Dollies and towels, scarves, no, that's not dollies, doilies, and towels and scarves would suddenly ignite. Then flaming hurls themselves at someone in the room. The fierce activities continued into the weekend. The Warrens canceled all commitments so they could stay with the Beckfords until Father Daniel's return on Sunday. Meanwhile, the rampage continued unbatted. In the downstairs rec room, heavy recliners floated up into the air, drifted to the middle of the room, then piled atop one another in obsessively sexual postures. Eventually, the rest of the furniture floated to the same area, then dropped hazardly to the floor. Upstairs, the wallpaper continued to peel itself down, exposing the hateful sentiments of the demonic. And throughout it all, fires started spontaneously, requiring everyone to be on guard to prevent a sudden conflagration. By Sunday, when Father Daniel returned, it was apparent to Ed and Lorraine the fury could be stopped only by exorcism. Ordinarily, a priest does not need permission to exorcise the house. However, The Exorcist had just been released as a movie, and the church was extremely sensitive to the criticism at the time. Therefore, the priest's instructions from Father McKeegan were explicit: to be able to support your request for exorcism with documented evidence of supernatural activities. The Warren had anticipated this paperwork completion and were ready to collect the necessary evidence by the time the priest arrived. The bulk of the work would still have to be done by Father Daniel, though. The Warrens, unable to postpone other important commitments to other people involved in other cases, had to leave that night for upstate New York. Therefore, the priest would again have to remain in the home to interview the family and list all incidents and phenomena that had occurred, while keeping a record of the ongoing activity now taking place with even more force and violence. On Monday and Tuesday, April 22nd and 23rd, Father Daniel set about documenting the activities, assembling a personality profile of each member of the family. The priest came to see the human cost of debacle siege. Perhaps the worst effect was Pete Beckford. Right from the very beginning, every movement had filled him with fear that rose up from the soul itself. He could not, moreover, bear the thought that his home was now apparently the abode of the devil. How inconceivable, how unwanted it all was. Tired, humiliated, and emotionally spent, Pete Beckford was also physically ill with a painful ulcer, for which he took expensive medicine. Even though he kept the pills hidden, the medication was found dumped in the toilet every morning, and he could no longer afford the luxury of renewing the prescription. He had not been able to work in over a month, and the ongoing expenses of damages and repairmen was now eating into his meager savings. Eternal oppression can be seen as a building process, Ed explained. When it starts out, it's basically a stimulus response situation. The spirit stimulates a particular emotion, say depression. If the person responds to the impulse, then the spirit stimulates it again and again. If the person keeps on responding, then eventually that emotion will extend so often and so intensely until one day there's either a breakdown or a catastrophe. Many times, though, the individual won't even know he's being programmed to destroy himself, because the oppression can be external as well. So while the spirit is turning internal depression into deep despair, it's diverting the person's attention to his $1,000 high fee set that's levitating in the middle of the room and about to crash to the floor. Sharon Beckford had reacted on a more personal level. Why was this violent destruction, vulgarity, and hate permitted to go on? For their whole life, they worked to build a good home and raise a proper family. They and their children attended church every Sunday with tears of anger. Sharon Beckford asked forceful questions to which there were no ready answers. If this is the devil's work, then where is God? Is it just for our whole home to be destroyed because of our daughter used a Ouija board? Alright, that's where I'm going to stop for now, and we'll continue on this Friday. So bye for now.